So in this video, I'm going to be talking about whether the SAT or ACT is the better test for you. So as somebody that took both the SAT and ACT, there are significant differences between both exams. In this video, I'll break down exactly what those differences are to help you make the right decision on which of those tests is right for you. Every year, millions of students will ask the same question. Should I take the SAT or should I take the ACT? Most colleges accept either test, but the bad news is that they're not the same. And depending on what your strengths are, one of them might be right for you. So over the next few minutes, my goal is to show you exactly how the SAT and ACT compare, and by the end, you'll know exactly what test is right for you. And before I hop into the video, for those that are looking for the most comprehensive admissions consulting, including publications with world-leading professors, well then I invite you to book a discovery call with me and my team at Ivy League Consults. So jumping into the video, what should you take, SAT or ACT? Now before I get into this video, I really want to address a simple myth, and that's that most students think that one test is better than the other. And that's simply not true. The tests are just fundamentally different. Colleges, including Ivy League schools, will accept both the SAT and ACT equally. They do not have a preference for one test over the other. They only care about your score. And in terms of which test is harder, you should instead ask which one better matches my strengths. Alright, so the first fundamental difference is the test length. So the SAT is a total of 2 hours and 14 minutes, whereas the ACT is a total of 3 hours. And so the ACT is a bit longer without the optional writing section. And with the writing, you're looking at about 3 hours and a half. So a long exam could potentially drain your focus. And so for that, the SAT does win on the length. Now, the next is the section. So the SAT has reading, writing, and math. That's it. 2 sections, which is very simple. Now, the ACT, on the other hand, has 4 different sections, and those sections are respectively English, math, reading, and science. And it does also offer an optional writing component, but that's not required for a lot of colleges. When students often hear the ACT science section, they often worry. But it's actually very interesting because the ACT science section doesn't actually test your science. In fact, it actually tests more of your reading skills. It essentially gives you a number of experiments and asks you to read the graphs, the charts, and understand the experiments to make quick arithmetic calculations to to comprehend how you've understood a particular passage. Now, recently this year, the ACT has been beginning to change, and considering into 2026, it's becoming a little bit shorter. And that means that there are going to be fewer questions, and the math, for example, now has 4 answer choices instead of 5, which was typically done in the previous version. The science section is also becoming increasingly optional, and students can choose between a digital or a paper test. So the ACT is actually different than the older versions that students may remember. Okay, now let's talk about the scoring for both of these exams. So the SAT scores from a 400 to a 1600, 1600 being perfect, 400 being the worst. Now on the ACT, you go from 1 to 36, and those scores are averaged into one final composite score. So you'll average all those 4 different scores into one final composite score. And you do not get a penalty for the wrong answer, so I would never leave a question blank on any question that you're going through. So which test is actually harder? And this really depends on you. The idea is that if you're strong at reasoning and like shorter passages, the SAT may feel a bit easier. In fact, even the reading and writing sections are quite small. You'll only have to read a paragraph at a time. It's very easy to go back, read the passage, find evidence for that passage, and then go and use that evidence to select your answer choice. Now, if you prefer more straightforward questions and prefer less of those tricky or gotcha questions, then I would probably recommend the ACT, which is a lot more straightforward. Many students will take both exams and say that the SAT will ask trickier questions, or you'll have to go back and reason a little bit more, whereas the ACT could be a little bit more straightforward. So my personal experience was when I had taken both these exams is I actually preferred the SAT. I felt that it was a shorter passage, I felt that I could do more review questions, and I could get more practice in. I also did like the little bit of deeper reasoning that was required for each question, and so therefore I performed a bit better on the SAT. Many students may completely disagree with me and may perform the ACT. Either way, it's whichever exam is better suited for you. Ideally, you should take one that you're better strong for. You should take one that you're better suited for. You should choose the SAT if you prefer a shorter digital exam and like reasoning-based questions. And math is also one of your strengths. Now you should choose the ACT if you work well quickly, you don't mind more questions, and you prefer a bit more straightforward questions or more questions that can be supported by the text. My advice is take a practice test, see how you do on both, and from that, go and continue your studies. Remember, colleges will accept both exams, and for students that are looking for support on that, well, then I invite you to book a call with ivyleagueconsults.com, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope you learned something.